Mike Triplett, NewOrleans.Football, hanging out with us. How are you, man?
Good. How are you?
Doing really well. Okay, we saw the Kellen Moore debut on Sunday. They come up short against Arizona. What were your general takeaways?
I guess it was kind of about what I expected. Not an abject disaster. Not quite enough to win. Rattler was about what I expected, which was probably better than some people anticipated, but not, enough to put him over the top. I think that's probably a good sampling of what we're going to see from the Saints this year. But as long as they're relatively healthy, as we said last week, they can compete with teams. Certainly going to be able to compete with the injury ravaged team that's coming into the Superdome this week.
We're going to talk about that. The Saints do lose safety Julian Blackmon. So we talked about Mike, you've said it all off season. They've got some good frontline players, but the gap is the depth is the problem here, right? Well, now you've lost a starting safety. How do you start to manage what the impact is of Julian Blackmon being done for the year?
Yeah, look, he was a really nice late acquisition for them. Arrived after Tyrann Mathieu retired, and his first day of practice with the Saints was the second day of training camp. He's done nothing but impress and make plays and fit right in. So that's going to be a loss for sure. I do think that is a position where they are a little more equipped to absorb a loss than some others. I think we're going to see Jonas Sanker, the third-round pick, get the first crack at that job. But they do have Jordan Howden, who obviously is an experienced starter in his third year. They have Terrell Burgess, an experienced veteran. That's one of the few possessions where they had some depth, but I don't want to shortchange Julian Blackmon, who almost came up with an interception in that game and looked like he was going to be a really nice find for them.
Second highest graded player defensively by Pro Football Focus in Week 1, behind only Demario Davis. What were your impressions throughout training camp of Jonas Sanker?
Well, he kind of came on later as far as earning the playing time and earning the opportunities, but he would make plays here and there, and then he started to make a lot of plays. I didn't know when he would get his playing time, and, the league has a funny way of making that happen faster than you think sometimes. But I did think we would see him a lot on special teams, and sure enough, he was one of the key players that they're going to be using on special teams. So I think he, of all their rookies, I mean, Danny Stutzman had a really nice summer, but his path to playing time is also pretty well blocked. I think Sanker, out of all the rookies outside of Kelvin Banks, should be prepared to make the biggest early impact.
Mike, was there anything on Sunday that surprised you, good or bad?
Not huge surprises. I mean, the most alarming thing was Tali Fuaga playing at the level he played. He was struggling out there, and then they took him out of the game. So I imagine it was the knee all along. But whether it was performance or health, scary, because he needs to be one of the top 10 guys that you count on this season. He needs to be one of the top 3 guys that you count on as a building block for the future. So that's a unfortunate guy to get a little nervous about. I wouldn't say anything surprising. I mean, Cam and DeMario were both drinking out of the fountain of youth. That was kind of a nice surprise. One of the better feel-good stories to see in Week 1.
You mentioned Taliese Fuaga. He, Trevor Penning, Chase Young are the big injury story this week in advance of the game against the 49ers. Would you mind maybe just going through each of those, telling us what you know and what the expectation is for Sunday? We'll start with Fuaga.
Yeah, well, Fuaga is the big question mark of the group. I mean, it really feels like Chase Young and Trevor Penning aren't going to play since we haven't seen them back on the practice field yet. Fuaga did get back in practice today, very limited, but, he had said yesterday the knee is going to be something he has to manage. I don't know for sure that they'll put him right back on the field, but he's the one who has a chance to play of sort of the big injury question marks of the week for sure.
What does not having Trevor Penning mean on offense and Chase Young mean on defense?
Yeah, I think with Penning we don't know yet. I wish we knew. It's by all indications he was going to be better at guard than he's been since we've seen him with the Saints, better than he was at right tackle last year, but we haven't seen it, so we don't know for sure. But but he has a chance to be like a bonus. If he really gravitates to that position and he can get out and move people in the run game, it has a chance to become a strength. So it's a disappointment we haven't seen that. And Chase Young, we know. I mean, he's their best pass rusher. He's their most talented pass rusher. And even though Carl Granderson and Cam Jordan even both had nice games in week one, you'd like to rotate in a third guy and have them be your second and third best pass rushers. So he's absolutely going to be missed as long as he's out.
Yeah, a guy that spent $50 million on in the offseason as well. He's on Twitter at Mike Triplett, NewOrleans.Football. Our chats with Mike are brought to you by Benny's Car Wash. Go to Benny'sCarWash.com, Benny'sCarWash.com, and learn more about their anytime packages where you can enroll. I'm in the one that's $17.99 a month, and you get as many car washes as you want, unlimited. Benny'sCarWash.com, Benny'sCarWash.com. Okay, so the 49ers come in this weekend, and as you mentioned, they are injury-riddled. We've gone through it. No Brock Purdy, no George Kittle. Obviously, Deebo Samuel plays for Washington now. Brandon Ayuk is still hurt. Like, am I wrong for thinking this is a game where this New Orleans defense should actually stand pretty tall and keep them in this thing?
Yeah, I mean, it should be competitive. I mean, we saw what injuries did to the 49ers last year. They were not able to overcome just the barrage of injuries. I mean, this is the one team that for the last 3 years has had worse injury reports than the Saints, I think, in the entire league. And no team can overcome that. And so they're vulnerable. They're absolutely vulnerable. Now, they still have Christian McCaffrey, who might be the best offensive player in the entire NFL. You still have to worry about him. Ricky Pearsall is a legitimate receiver who was drafted in the first round and is a weapon they're going to have to worry about. And their defense is loaded. I mean, you still got Nick Bosa. You still got Fred Warner. So the Niners, even with all those injuries, are still, 3-point underdogs last time I checked on the road across the country in New Orleans. But 3-point spread is basically a coin flip. The Saints play the way they did last week, minus the penalties, finish in the red zone. Of course, this should be one of those one-score games that they should have a chance to win.
Can the Saints offense move the ball against the 49ers defense?
I think they can. The offensive line injuries, if Waga's not going to be out there, that becomes more disturbing. But, they do have playmakers too. I mean, we saw it, Olave Shaheed, Alvin, all looking good last year. Add in Brandon Cooks, add in Juwan Johnson. There are some weapons they get the ball to. Kellen Moore is pretty smart about not having Spencer Rattler stand back in the pocket for too long, get himself in trouble. 1 sack, no turnovers last week. That's what the game plan will look like. It's hard to count on 12-play drives. They blow up sometimes. Sometimes you get all the way to the 3-yard line and you can't finish it off. When you're counting on that, they'll probably need to find a way to get an explosive play in there or two that never showed up last week. But, yeah, I mean, to be able to win a game in the low 20s, I think they're capable of doing that.
This is going to sound probably like a stupid question, the way I'm going to ask it, but I think you'll understand what I mean. How important is it for the Saints to win this game because of all the context we just mentioned and what you have the next 2 weeks on the road?
Yeah, look, ever since I saw this schedule, I thought 0-4 was going to be staring them in the face because it's at Seattle and it's at Buffalo. And even if this team is pointing in the right direction and has some positive vibes and some things to genuinely feel good about, 0-4 is hard to escape. I mean, there's going to be guys in that locker room who know the playoffs are kind of out of the picture, barring a miracle. It's easy for DeMario Davis and Cam Jordan to look shot out of the cannon in week one, but when they're checking another season off the list, it becomes a lot harder for that buy-in in the locker room. I mean, Chris Olave, I just wrote about this today. His frustration was so evident after another loss that they fought so hard in and coming up short. He was steaming in the locker room. I mean, it takes a toll. It takes a toll. So starting 0-4 hurts your spirit. I mean, you can't fake your way through that. So getting any games they can in this first 4 would be huge to kind of keep that belief alive, because this is a team that is clearly built to be better with each passing month as guys like Kellen Moore and Spencer Rattler gain experience.
What'd you think of the uniforms?
Hated them.
That's
Hated them. I'm looking forward to the all white ones we're going to see soon. But I'm not a yellow guy.
My wife asked me, and she doesn't know anything about sports, Mike. She said she came in because she wasn't even watching. She came in the room and goes, "Why is that the same? Why are they wearing beige?"
Yeah, light beige too. A different beige than the beige on their pants. They have, look, if you want a team with 7 different shades of beige, light gold, bright gold, they've got the full spectrum. Unfortunately, they often pair them together.
They just mix and match, like a 40-year-old trying to pick out socks and shoes. I just put on whatever we want. That's what we'll do today.
There you go.
All right, you can read about all that and more at NewOrleans.Football, and make sure you follow him on Twitter at Mike Triplett. He's with us every Thursday. We appreciate it, Mike. Thank you.
Thanks for having me.
Hey, thanks so much for watching. Please leave your comments. I love to interact, and be sure to hit the red subscribe button below.